Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to our latest Getting Scott Headed, our video series where I rant about a different movie, TV, entertainment, or pop culture related topic. Today I'm ranting about why Stargate should get a new series. Over this past weekend, hashtag #WeWantStargate was trending on Twitter, led by fans and some of the creative and actors who are all involved with the shows, the original shows. And seeing this over the weekend brought a big smile to my face. This is probably one of my favorite things to go viral or to trend on Twitter, maybe ever, because I love Stargate. I've loved Stargate since I was a very young teenager. I remember when I first got into the show. My older brother is the one who originally got me into the show, and I just always loved it. As soon as I checked out the first season, I was hooked, and then I went back and watched the movie, and it was a whole thing, and I just loved it, and I loved that I was able to grow up getting pretty much new episodes as I was kind of as I discovered the fandom was actually just slowly wrapping up, and we were getting the last of Atlantis at the time, but that's not really what I'm talking about. The point is Stargate is great. I love the franchise. I love the series. SG-1 is my favorite TV show of all time. I rewatch it all the time. I was rewatching episodes of it last night. I'm currently rewatching season 7, and so I was just seeing this just brought a big smile on my face that there's still such a big fan base, such a big love for Stargate still out there. You know, this is one of those franchises. Sci-fi's are always one of those ones where I'm like, I never know if there actually is still that fan base, that like a big significant fan base, enough fan base that they were able to get this trending on Twitter over the weekend when there's a whole Comic-Con going on with things like Wonder Woman and Marvel announcements and stuff like that, and we were able to, or I shouldn't say we, I wasn't really part of it till at the end of it, but that the fans of Stargate and the individuals who were involved in making it were able to get this, get it trending on Twitter in a weekend that's so crowded with so many other things that kind of relate to this being kind of geeky, nerdy, stuff. It being a sci-fi show, one of the longest running sci-fi shows in history. I'll throw that out there. I'm not really sure if anything's beat it by now. I don't know if Supernatural technically counts as sci-fi because that's more fantasy. But anyways, we're not getting into that. But the point is it was such a great little thing, and I'm with everybody who was trending, who was tweeting about this over the weekend and who got this trending, the hashtag #WeWantStargate, because I always want Stargate. I love Stargate, and I've been wanting more new seasons since we got the last series that kind of finished up. Well, kind of last series. There was a web series that happened, which I haven't actually checked out yet because there was a whole paywall thing. But anyways, since the last series was Stargate Universe, which wrapped up kind of prematurely because it had kind of lost interest in on TV at least, and that's why MGM kind of maybe more hesitant to reboot it or to bring in a new series related to it. But I think this is the prime time to do it. We got Star Trek right now with 2 new series, it's about to have its second new series coming out with Star Trek Picard, not a reboot, but a continuation of a franchise we already had with a big character. So I think this is a very prime time. Audiences are ready for sci-fi, and yes, it might not be something that you want to try to get on television again, but for streaming, I think this is a perfect franchise that to build on and to add more to because it has just so many opportunities. It's such a wide open universe that, like, yes, we've explored a lot through 10 seasons of SG-1 and 5 seasons of Atlantis and the 2 seasons of Universe, but there's still so much more we can explore with this because it just has so many different possibilities with all the different mythology and stuff that all the seasons we have so far have already introduced. That it's just, I don't see why we couldn't have a new series and why it couldn't be as popular as these new Star Trek series. It's because it's so similar to Star Trek in some essences. It's got the politics of Star Trek mixed in, will end with the exploration part of Star Trek, but also mixed in with a lot more action and a little bit more fighting. You get the good versus evil kind of Star Wars kind of vibe in there. You get all the great stuff that, well, not everybody loves necessarily about sci-fi, but I in particular love the exploration, in particular them going and trying to find new technologies to fight more advanced alien races and much uncovering history and the ties they like to make to actual real history, and kind of having fun explanations of, oh, this is what influenced this mythology and this, and I just love it. And I think there's such an opportunity for them to expand on the universe even more, add a new series in, bring new fans into this already huge universe that already exists. Like I said, a total of 17 seasons of TV, with 18 if you want to include the web series as well. So there's lots. There's even actually an animated series I always forget. So you can throw in an extra season into there. So almost 20 seasons of TV. You could bring new fans into that they could rediscover just by creating one new season of a series and putting it on a Netflix, on an Amazon, on any of these streaming services. I'm not saying don't start your own MGM. Do not do that. I know right now MGM, actually, I believe you can get MGM movies via Amazon Prime, at least in Canada. You can add that as one of the Amazon Prime channels. So I don't see why they can't, come up with a deal with Amazon. Amazon likes doing sci-fi shows. They're just about to release the next season of The Expanse. Why not a new season of some Stargate show? One maybe that takes place either in the future, or maybe it takes place now and there's a new alien threat in the galaxy that's come from a different galaxy. There's lots of galaxies, you guys know, and guess what? The Stargates can travel really far. So I think this is just definitely the time, with the hashtag trending and the fact that we have so many different places where for fans to discover it, that they could put it. Like I said, they could even team up with NBC. Is that the ones who do CBS who does or is it? Yeah, CBS who does Star Trek. They could team up with them even, and Star Trek CBS could then have even more sci-fi content, or they can team up with Netflix, who's got Lost in Space coming out as well. So there's sci-fi. There's definitely a lust for sci-fi content from audiences. So I don't see why we don't bring Stargate back, my personal favorite TV sci-fi franchise. And I think it's time for it. Let's do it. The hashtag's going. Bring it back, MGM. But yeah, I would really, really, really love if they brought back a new series. But yeah, that's pretty much my full rant on why we should get a new Stargate series. I could probably keep going and going and going. I love this series, this franchise and series so much, and I would just love for a new series. Another 10 seasons and a couple movies is what I'm always on board for. But this is my favorite show. It's the one I go to rewatching all the time. I actually tweeted myself near the end of this Twitter storm that it caused, saying that most people rewatch Friends and The Office, and I rewatched Stargate in that sense. I had it on yesterday while I was cooking and all this different, and I always managed to have a episode on sometime throughout the week, and just because I love it. I love the characters, the plot, but I'll have to talk more about why I love Stargate even more than I've already touched on in this video and another video, which you can check out. I'll link it at the end of this video. But yes, that's the complete end of this rant. Thanks again for joining me today. Be sure to subscribe to me if you haven't already, and have a good one.